man. Boys and girls, we're rolling up the sleeves for this one because I have no clue what I got myself into this evening. It's a Tuesday evening. We're not at the beginning of the work week. We're creeping through it. But tonight, this is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, the Mastodon. Welcome to the show, my friend.
What's happening, Don? How we doing tonight?
I'm done with work. Dinner's in the oven. There's a lot of happening in the household I can hear over there, but that doesn't. I am easily distracted. Oh, there's a squirrel. I am easily distracted, but that will not distract me. What I like to do, we bring on the talent. We get to pull the curtain back a little bit, if you allow us, and we just get to know the talent that we see at the shows, or we get to learn about new talent like tonight because I've never met you personally. I've never seen you wrestle personally. I've seen some stuff, some media, if you will, on the social medias, and that's how we've kind of connected. So we'll talk all about that. But I like to bring the talent on and pull the curtain back a little bit and get to know the talent, if that's okay with you, my friend.
Absolutely. Let's take a peek.
All right. Well, we're just gonna, and I'd like to start off because the name specifically, the Mastodon, caught my eye. Your look, uh, and again, I just want to say before we get too far, the sanctuary. I've been seeing a lot of the pictures, you being in the sanctuary and in those. Oh my,
It's a
holy
beautiful place, man.
shit, dude,
It is a
that
beautiful
place.
place. John Trosky has built himself a cathedral that is second to none. There is no place on this planet like it, and I
No.
am so spoiled to get to call that home.
And that is an excellent. That's the name of this. That's going to be the title. I like to call every episode different. It's a beautiful place, and I'm honored to call that home or something. I'll fix it up though, because again, I go off the cuff. I don't write nothing down. I don't do any research.
Call it on
Pretty
the fly,
much,
brother. That's how we live. Call it on the fly.
yes, sir, my man. And I call it the jackass way of interviews because you would think you'd want to be a little more professional, a little research done, but I think it's fun and a little bit edgy if I just don't do any of that. Should I? Absolutely. Don't do it like me, boys and girls. Don't do it. Don't do it like me. But I have fun that way specifically. So let's kind of sneak back to your name, the Mastodon. Um, First off, before we get into that, how long have you been in the business? Because I want to gauge how long you've been in and where this character fits. So, how long have you been in the business, my man?
All right, so that is a very complicated answer, but I've
Ooh,
been in the business since about 1998. When
okay.
I was 16 years old, I used to run the website, do ringside photography for Off of the Wild Simone and WXW when I
Oh,
was still in high school. And then in 2001, I started training. I made my debut in 2002, and then I've had a couple periods where I've drifted in and out, getting involved in other carny type shenanigans.
okay.
But I always find my way back to pro wrestling, and so yeah, I've been stinking around the bowl for about 20 years and some change, in
All
and
right.
out, up and down, over
It,
and under.
it, yeah, and not everybody, not every because their life doesn't allow it. Sometimes, you got to kind of step away for a little bit, but you always find the love. Not that the love went away, but you always kind of come back to your love being wrestling. So
Wrestling, getting involved that young almost kind of broke me. Like nothing else makes sense to me. So
mhm.
everything that I look at in this world, I always correlate back to what I learned from the Wild Samoans and from just being involved in the business. So it's been very ingrained in who I've become. So it's only natural that I just keep finding my way back home.
We're definitely going to talk about that WXW because I love that promotion. I mean, I don't follow it as close as I probably should because there's so much wrestling. I can only follow so much at one time, but I do follow it in a general fashion, and I love all of that. The history, everything they're doing, the molding of the students, and their association with still the WWE, where I see some of the students. And I'm gonna pull a Jenga piece out and I'm just going to say Chico Adams, and because I've only met him one time. He did a show in Mass at Battlefront, And I just seen him rise little by little by little, doing spots on a Raw, doing spots on a SmackDown, being a security, being an EMT, if you will. But he's getting his feet wet and he's doing the work, and I see who he trains with time in and time out. And again, the students and the company that WXW keeps just love everything about it, you know?
It's absolutely, this business is all about opportunities, and you've got to surround yourself and put yourself in the presence of those that can provide opportunities and where opportunities abound. And I know that, yeah, my training probably cost a little bit more than most schools, but at that time, there was nowhere else you could go than the Wild Simone Training Center, unless you went to like a different region of the country to get anywhere even close to as good of an education. So it was a slam dunk for me. And then, the family basically brought me in and took me in and made me a part of their own. And for that, even still to this day, I'll be forever grateful. I've seen a
How
lot of
long?
guys come up and come through. I was there for Dave Batista's first match when he was in Hazleton many years ago. I still have photos of it in my photo box over there.
Was he the Leviathan at that time, or right?
He was performing as Khan. It was
Okay,
before the Leviathan. He hadn't even gone to OVW yet.
okay.
Um, Pops had discovered him and got him through, all the bumps and bruises and everything he needed to get started. And then OVW just gobbled him up right away. And obviously, that's a gamble that paid off in dividends.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how long were you associated with the WXW in-house?
Um, let's see. Every time I get back to wrestling, it's always back there. It's always back home. So I mean, if you've seen me in wrestling, then I've had my hand reached out to that camp or been deeply entrenched. There was a stretch through 2012 to 2014 that I was allowed to be part of the creative team and helping. Again, we went back to doing promotional stuff, doing the graphics and really helping build the undercard. Um, if I'm in wrestling, I'm speaking to that family.
Mhm.
Um, it's again beyond blessed to have
Nice.
opportunities like that.
Oh,
Samu,
awesome.
at any given moment, if I need him, and I reach out, he's always going to answer because
Mhm.
he's always looked out for me like that. Watching Lance grow up, watching Alpha Junior grow up, these people they might as well be family for me.
Mm. Uh, I love hearing that kind of stuff. Now I know I wanted to start with the name, and I kind of went on a different direction. Um, now, because you just got to follow me. Like I said, I'm a
Hey, yeah,
jackass. You just got
you
to
you
follow
you run off, you lead, I follow, brother.
me. Now you've been in the business for about 20 years, you said. How come I've never heard of you until as of recently? Is it my fault? I mean, because I've only really been in the indie scene, kind of fluently since about 2016, maybe late 2015. But I specifically have not heard of the Mastodon. Is that my bad for some reason, or what's going
No,
on?
no. Like I said, I've been in and out. Honestly, more out than in. I spent a
Okay.
few years as a touring band manager. I spent a few years doing nonprofit work. I spent a few years in ministry. I spent a few years running tattoo shops. I recently took about a 7-year hiatus, so that
Oh.
I could chase a career, buy a house. Um, I get singular focused on something. I run at it really hard.
Mhm.
The last big run that I had before this year I came back. The whole COVID break, it just shut down my momentum with my career trajectory. Paid the house off, kind of lost all the steam to want to keep going. Um, but the run I had before that, I was on a tag team called BYOB, and we were gaining some traction. My tag team partner was Gus Harlicker. He was known as the Dynamic Sensation, August Wright,
Oh,
also
okay.
known as the Drunken Swashbuckler, and in the PWS crew. Um, we ran a little circle called the Culture of Charisma with Supremely
Okay.
Great and a few other guys here and there. I, you know, for the longest time, I didn't really break out of PA in New Jersey much, mostly PA. Like I said, come and go a lot. This year, when I came back in, I really just I want to run till the wheels fall off, man. I'm 38 years old. I've been doing this a minute. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make this one big final push until I fall apart. And let me tell you, I'm in my prime. I'm in the best shape of my life right now.
Nice.
I'm in the best weight that I've been in since I was a sophomore in high school. I
Really?
Yeah, dude, I dropped 200 pounds in the last 3 years. I am
Holy
on a
shit.
mission to just run roughshod through everybody and everything everywhere.
Wow.
I want to go as far as possible and do as much as I can, especially weird stuff. There's so much cool stuff going on in wrestling right now, and I want to be a part of all of it.
Um, you took me in a different direction here because I already had something at the ready, and then you just threw this at me. A lot to take in right there. But I want to pull. Lost 200 pounds. First off, congratulations, because I
Thank you.
know it's a life changing, but it takes an immense amount of willpower, and effort. All and it is very life changing. I have family that have gone through similar situations, and I know how tough it is to stick with it and transform yourself. Were you wrestling when you were 200 pounds heavier, like regularly?
When I left in 2014, I was just a little over 400 pounds.
Holy cow! Okay,
And then I
wow,
ballooned after I stopped wrestling and I took a break and I was in management at my job. So like it was a lot of office time, a lot of sitting on my
right,
rear end doing nothing and long hours.
okay,
I had ballooned up to it was like 494, just under 500 pounds.
wow,
And
wow.
when I last weighed myself here the other day, I was at 273.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. That's fucking awesome. I, I
It's
mean,
work, man. It's a lot of work. It's rewiring the brain, going with new habits,
yes,
and it's work.
absolutely. A plus 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 for effort, my man. Congratulations. That is simply amazing. Now, I'm gonna stick with this just for a minute because I've I mean, I'm built like a candle. I mean, let's just be. It is what it is. So I've never had to deal with weight fluctuations like a lot of wrestlers or athletes do and such. Now, taking that weight off and getting, we're talking almost peaking at 500, and now you're down to under 300, which is absolutely just mind altering. But you must have had to absolutely transform your whole move set, your whole mindset in ring, never mind in life. But once you get in that ring and you've lost this weight, man, I go, things just totally change in there. So you must have had to like take a whole new approach, a brand new approach, maybe. Am I correct on saying that?
Yes and no. There are certain things that I had to adjust. There's been a few things I've dropped out of my arsenal just because I'm not as big. Um, I've always considered myself and I've always been regarded as relatively agile for big men. I've always been
Okay.
able to move and go. I may not do all the flips and the crazy stuff like that, but again, look at my upbringing. Look what I was brought up with. Know how to throw a good punch and a headbutt, man, and you don't need much more than that. So a lot of my styles stayed the same. The one thing that changed, though, through all of that, was a lot of self confidence.
Hmm.
And when you get in that ring, self confidence is key. Having the confidence and the trust in yourself and your body, and your opponent and your partner, dance partner, there having to have that trust in you as well. Um, when you can carry yourself in a way that you trust yourself more, everybody else will fall in line. The crowd will believe it more. It's just so much better. So that's been the big shift out of it. It's not really what I do in the ring, it's more how I'm mentally when I'm in there.
Right.
I'm doing things that I never thought I'd do before. Um, it's incredible. Like even when I first started training and I was in high school, I wasn't in this shape. So
Wow.
I go back and I look at my BYOB tag team matches. and stereotypical big guy, hot tag, come in, bit, bit, bop, bop, go, go. Here's the big bump. Here's the big bump. Crowd pop, I can do so much more now. I can actually show more of a range of emotion. I can push my selling. The man on your shirt and I have had some fun throwing some hands, um, making people in the front row cringe, and a lot of it, I can keep up more with him now, and it's a lot more impressive for a 275-pound version of this big, massive mastodon going nose to nose with a guy like a PJ Savage than it was for like the chubby bunny that was out there, everybody's pal mastodon that was, just kind of there for throwing headbutts. It's
Right.
so it's definitely better mentally and physically, all the way around. Sorry, I went like 13 different bunny paths on that.
No, that's my friend. Uh, this is why I love to do these interviews, and the main reason was to get the wrestler stories, the local wrestlers. I've never gone for a big name in my life. I don't want to. I like if it's a kid just starting out who just had their first match. I've done 2 of those in the past 5 days. I love that kind of stuff. Or if it's a guy like yourself, you've been in the game for about 20 years. Maybe not solid, but you've been in the game for 20 years. You have a good head about it and an amazing foundation being from WXW. Um, this is the kind of stuff that I started it for, because when we're at the events, we buy your merch, we buy your stickers, we hang out, we have some laughs, we talk about what just happened, we point and laugh at the guy who just lost to you, all of that kind of stuff, but it's for a hot minute. We don't get to talk and chit chat like this. So that's why I always say, I don't want to put restrictions on this. That's why if I get a little loose lip with some F bombs, whatever, be your, do you have a conversation like it's 2 guys just hanging out on the couch, bullshit and wrestling in the Mastodon. That has been my whole setting for this, and that's all I've ever wanted. So if you want to go on a tangent, my man, you go on a tangent. And to get back to PJ Savage, love me some PJ Savage because he scares the fuck out of me. Um,
Well, hold on. I'm glad you brought that up because I know he's going to pay attention to this, and I want him to hear this.
oh, okay.
At the sanctuary, there was a 4-way, and we do a little thing we like to call a strike fight. It is precisely what you would think. It's a bunch of really big guys going out there beating the living shit out of each other. It speaks to my heart. PJ Savage, my on again, off again tag Boo Ransom, Travis Dorian, another boy from the 570 with me, and of course myself. We were the 4 that were out there. Travi and I are both local. Like, that's home for us. We're a bunch of mountain boys, just hard-boiled mountain boys. We start throwing hands. And if you go on the Sanctuary page or on my Facebook page and you look this video up, you'll hear it. You can hear PJ almost crying PJ about how hard we're throwing it. I just want to go on record to say that anything that happens on the west side of the Delaware River hits like an anvil. So them soft little city boys over there want to come dance in our pretty little playground. Just know we play hard.
Those views were not part of my message, Mr. Savage. I want to stay in one piece. I like my limbs where they are. I appreciate. You know what? I might even clip that for you. We'll put it out there so it can be a direct message if you wish. I don't mind doing that.
Absolutely. I will stand behind my words 100%, always and forever.
Oh, okay. And that's what I'm talking about. A free, open forum. This is what we're here for, my man. And if I may, before we go too much in a different direction, there's also a kid that goes over there named Jay Bougie.
Jay Bougie.
Have you ever smacked him around a little bit?
It's on my list of things to do.
Yes.
There are certain people at the sanctuary that I'm supposed to be nice to.
Okay.
I've got to be nice to Mr. J. Bougie.
Oh,
I
okay.
like the kid. I like the kid.
Oh,
But
mm-hmm.
I
Yes,
have
sir.
a Yorkshire Terrier. It's my dog. It's my best friend, right?
Mhm.
He's a yappy little shit.
Little thing. Yeah.
Right, about 5 pounds soaking wet with poop.
Yes.
Reminds me a lot of J. Bougie.
Oh.
When I see him post on the Facebook or leaving little comments, that's all I hear when I read it in my head is yip, 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 yip. He's another one. And like I said, the city boys, they come across the river, they pay the toll to leave New Jersey. They come into Pennsyltucky, they come to my neck of the woods.
Oh, Pennsyltucky.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you got the PA map here, right? You know?
Okay.
Well, actually, it's a little bit more like this. No,
Okay.
it is like this. All right, flip around. So
Okay.
you got Pittsburgh and you got Philly. Pennsyltucky in between.
Oh, Pennsyltucky. You know what? That's going to be the
Pennsyltucky?
That's going to be the title of this episode, Pennsyltucky.
There we go, Pennsyltucky. Home sweet home.
You know, why you got to put ideas in my head with squashing a Yorkshire Terrier and Jay Bougie's picture? I'm going to figure something out, and I'm going to get myself in trouble in the process. But
that's why we're stirring the pot, Don. That's why we're here stirring the pot.
That is a great visual. I'd like. You are a man after my own heart with that one. Holy cow, that was beautiful. Now, I want to spin back all the way to the beginning of this 20 minutes ago.
We still haven't talked about where my name comes from, have we?
No, not once. I'm going to go in reverse instead of going from the beginning. So let's start with what we know right now. You are called the Mastodon. First off, what's up with the name? Does it represent anything? Is there a backstory to your character, if you will? That's question A, if you will. And then another sub-question of it. Question B being, was that where you started? Or please tell us you had some kooky little gimmick, maybe like when Cain was a Christmas creature or some crazy shit like that. So start us from the present and take us back to the beginning, if you will.
I can do that. I can do that for you, Don. Not a problem. The Mastodon, pardon me, is a name that came about around 2012 when I came back the last time. It's a fat joke.
Oh.
A friend of mine, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to wrestle as when I came back, because when I first left wrestling, I was like, all right, done. We're not doing that again. Too many concussions. And if you want to hear the story of some of those concussions, go watch my review on Moran and Friends. It's like 2.5 hours long of just me rambling on about my wrestling history. I don't think we want to repeat that tonight.
I'll check it out, though. I'll definitely check it out. I love me some Mr. Moran.
It's entertaining because if nothing else, I bag on Moran the entire time. I promise
I gotta watch it.
Anything else. Tune in, everybody. It's like the roast of Johnny Moran.
You just sucked me in.
On his show.
Oh, thank you.
You clip that one and put it around. There's all kinds of I reference or I compare him to soft serve vanilla ice cream. That's a fun one.
Again, not me.
That's all right. We'll talk about me and Johnny Moran in Boston, Massachusetts here shortly. So anyway, the Mastodon. I was at a friend's house and my friend's dad hand paints signs. You know, like we're talking craftsmanship. Like this is a lost art, beautiful work. But he's a ball buster deluxe. And to be an asshole, when I was having this conversation with his son, he's like, why don't you be the Mastodon? Because you're built like a fat old elephant. I'm spiteful. I'm the baby of the family. I'm the baby of the baby of the baby of the baby. I'm spiteful.
I'm spiteful.
So I said, fuck you, I'll do it. Joke's on him, I own that shit. And then I come to find out that Vince McMahon has been trying to throw that name on every big guy that comes through. Like he tried to force it on Vader.
Mhm.
Vince, you want one? There's a Mastodon right here, brother. I'm 6'3". I'm in that range.
um, now, obviously, you've kind of had a life altering change here with the drop of the weight, but you kept the name the Mastodon. Why so?
I'm still built like a brick shit house, brother. I'm
Got
still
you.
a large man. Um,
Got
Look, when I first broke in, I was like an average size guy for wrestling. Wrestling was so much bigger. And the older I get, the longer that I'm in the business, the smaller the business gets. And that's not a bad thing. Like I've got no beef with it. Like there's some big guys out there like, oh, too many little. No, I love it. Makes me look better. Bring on more small guys. Makes me look bigger. It makes me more special. So
Yeah.
even though I've lost all this weight, I'm still broad. Most human beings, most human males, when they stand in front of me, the outsides of their shoulders are here. Now, I know that's just a couple more inches broad, but on video and on picture, I look like such an otherworldly larger person, even though I'm only 6'3", 6'3", 6'5" with my boots on. You know, like I'm just built broad, like a titan, like a something abnormal.
I'm gonna have to make my way to the sanctuary, and I know it's a far drive for me. We've actually talked about that privately because I just slide in anybody's DMs. It doesn't matter if they want it or not. But I've got to get to the sanctuary for two reasons now. To just take in that just amazing atmosphere that's down there. First off, second off, I'm only 5'10", maybe 5'10 and a half, and I'm about a buck 30. I'm built like a candle. If I were to be a champion, I would want a super confetti weight championship. I would love to take a picture in comparison to you, my man. I think that would be something fucking hilarious. Now
Absolutely.
that would be my second reason of going to the sanctuary.
Absolutely.
Oh! I just remembered a third one. And watching you smack around Jay Bougie. Yes.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Yes. Ooh, good times. Just the visions are already good times.
But
Now,
when I first broke in the business, though, I just used my real name. I just used Raj.
oh, now that's kind of weird because some guys will or girls will start off with their shoot name, if you will, and then they change it later on. Or sometimes they start with all of these crazy things that they wanted to try, but didn't really gel for them and or the fans. So they've moved on from this gimmick to that gimmick to this gimmick, and then all of a sudden they like say fuck it, and they start using their shoot name again. So it's kind of weird with wrestling and the characters when you guys and girls first start, because not everybody starts with their regular name and not everybody starts with a gimmick. So it's kind of like a half and half bag, if you will. But I find that very interesting when it comes to wrestlers and what they choose to start with and then how it works out later.
Well, I've got a vet like Rosh isn't short for anything. That's it. Rosh. It's a 4-letter word. My last name's a 4-letter word. If that tells you anything, my poor parents, they set themselves up for this. And it's a very unique name. Like I only actually know a couple others, including a former roommate of mine. That's a whole ridiculous story. The two Rashas living together. So it's something that like it's easily marketable, and I know at the end of the day, everybody knows what my real name is anyway. It's not really a secret, and I'm not like the Mastodon Rosh Coke, because if I threw my last name out there, everybody would butcher it. And it's like I just run it with the Mastodon, but sometimes people call me Rosh, and it doesn't matter to me either way. But I started out as Rosh. My character was a drunken idiot, which was perfect. It was me dialed up to like 11.2. And I already lived at a state of about 10.5. So we're only talking a little bit of Steiner math, and then we're there.
Divide by 3.
And that's where my finisher came from. My true finisher that I only hit one time this year. It's a double underhook pile driver called the Designated Driver.
Oh
Brings you
wow!
home safe every time.
Wow! Wow, that sound. Ooh, man,
I
just
did it. I
envisioning
did
that.
it at Titan on a run in American Spirit too. I picked Dennis Morgan up and dropped him on his fucking head.
Oh wow.
After I
Oh.
gave Big Rock the old black hole slam, but he had a blown out knee, so I had no idea why he dead asked me. And then I found out he couldn't even walk. So it's impressive he could even get up. But yeah, that was my old finish, and all of my things, like there was a hangover fist drop, like everything was drunk related. And that was my whole persona, was just this drunken idiot, which was, set the precedent for the rest of my life.
Now, as the Mastodon presently, um, is there anything behind it? I mean, I see the gear, you know, you're coming out, you're looking big, you're looking mean and stuff. Where are we on the fence of the heel face, good guy, bad guy thing? Does it matter? Or is it, I don't care what the crowd thinks of me. I just come out. If they cheer me, they can cheer me. If they boo me, they can boo me, whatever. I don't give a shit. Where are you at with this?
If a promoter asks me, what do you need me to be, sir? I've been trained either way. I can swing it either way. I can come out and be me and let the crowd decide. Or if you want a baby face Mastodon, I'm really good at it. I can look, man. Like if you give me a crowd of kids, I'm gonna have them eat them out of the palm of my hand, man. I don't ask me how or why, but I have a good time. My old tag partner used to accuse me of smiling too much, even when we were baby faces. It's like, you smile too much. You look like you're having too good of a time. I'm like, I am. I'm having a blast. I'm out here punching people in the face and throwing my head around, and these people are popping for it. I throw a chop and you hear a ooh, and like I live for that. So, like, you want me to go out and be a good guy? I'll go out and do that. You want me to go out there and be a big old piece of shit heel? Done. Done. I can look at a child and make them cry just from glaring. You tell me what energy you need out of me, and I'll dig it out of me.
I love that. Being able to do both sides. Now, I've gotten more of one answer than the other, but I'm going to ask you, since you do, and you seem very comfortable on doing both parts. What do you prefer? Making the kids cry or lifting the crowd up?
I like to work babyface.
Really? Now, see, I didn't expect that. I thought, because if I had to put a percentage, I would say like 30% of the people say the baby face, and 70% of the people are like, it's so much easier and fun to just piss people off.
It is and it isn't. I'm going to get some heat for this, but it's just going to be food for thought here. This is not directed at anybody in particular. This is just from 20 years of observation. Everybody wants to be the heel, and everybody wants to be the cocky, cool heel, right? Like everybody wants to be Shawn Michaels. Or everybody just wants to go out there and yell your mom jokes at everybody and just be like a kind of a dick, right? None of that is true heel work. And truthfully, the heel in the match has to control the pace and the flow and dictate everything, the tenor, the cadence of the match. There's so much work involved with being a heel. A baby face is not an easy trick, but there's more selling involved. There's more going with it. And there's more reading when the build-up's coming so that you know when to pop and explode. There's a lot more feeling and manipulating the energy of the crowd when there is a crowd. Give me that. Give me that. That's wrestle drugs. That's why I do this. That's why at 38 years old, I can't hang it up. Because anytime I get the opportunity to feed off of that, put it right in
there. Mainstream me.
Feed it to me. There's nothing like it in the world.
Reading the crowd, hearing the crowd, using them as a tool. I speak about that, and I try to anyways. And I don't like to ask the same old questions, but it's not always the same answer because of everybody is so different. Hearing the crowd, utilizing us as a tool, but really catching what we're doing and being able to feed off of that. Do you know of a time frame of where it kind of clicked, where that light switch kind of turned on? You're like, oh, wait a minute, now I'm getting it.
Um, that 2012 to 2014 run that I had, um, when I was with WXW and I was doing the Culture of Charisma and BYOB. John Trotsky, Gus, and I, we were the Culture of Charisma. We were thick as thieves. We were really studying deep and listening. It came from a Shawn Michaels, I believe it was his Hall of Fame induction speech when he was talking about that energy, right? And there was already something that the three of us had been discussing and had been in tune with just personal interests. And we started piecing things together as to feeling the energy. And if you go back on any of the Angry Wrestling Vet, because John Trotsky was the Angry Wrestling Vet, if you go back on any of his tirades, there's actually a thing about the energy ball. We started playing with this philosophy of feeling energy. And it's not even seeing the crowd or hearing the crowd.
Okay.
It's feeling the crowd. You can hear, there's going to be loud assholes yelling dumb shit. You've got to filter right through it and go right to what you can feel coming from that crowd. The bigger the crowd, the more the feel. And when you can feel it, it's like, right, without sounding too crazy, and I know I'm already way past that, but it's like riding a lazy river through space and time.
Okay.
And you can just ride with it. But it's so important to be able, and really the best way to do this, call less shit. Memorize less shit. Know who you are and what you are. Put pieces together that need to be put together, but give yourself this time where you can shut the fuck up and feel. And it sounds easier than it is, especially when you're trying so hard to perform and impress.
Right.
But if you really want to get the full value of being a professional wrestler, being a worker, being in this, in that moment, learn how to turn it off, shut the fuck up, and work that rest hold, work that feeling, work that sell, work your cameras, work your crowd, reach out and touch somebody without touching them. That's when it starts to click. I said to Samu the other day, it was actually a couple months ago, we were down in Sunbury. And I said, Oos, I said, remember what you always used to tell us? And he's like, which one? I said, right. Fair enough. Slow down. Less is more. Feel the crowd. It's all right there.
I love all of what you said because I'm an old school guy. You know, not too old school, but I grew up on the AWA, the WCCW. You know, the Von Erichs, the Freebirds, the Rick Rude coming in under Percy Pringles.
The good stuff.
All of that, the Bruiser Brody and the names, Gentleman Chris Adams, and I mean the names could go on. And that's just a name, just a sliver of them. But my guy, because the very first event that I ever saw was at a Bristol Central High School in '78, and it was a WWF doing their live tour stuff, and it was a champion at that time, Bob Backlund, going against Cowboy Bob Orton was the main event. The co-main event was Tito Santana and Ivan Putski going against Wild Samoans with Captain Lou. Now, those are the two matches that I really that stand out in my memory. Again, I was only 8 years old, but that was my first live event, and Bob Backlund was my fucking hero for so long. But then all of a sudden, man, I'm watching this Don Morocco, and I could believe everything he was saying. And again, I know I was growing up as a kid or whatever, but watching Don Morocco, I could just listen to that guy no matter what he was doing, and I would get sucked into it. If he was talking cool, if he was being a bad guy, it didn't matter to me. For some reason, Don Morocco specifically, if he was pissed off, I was into it. If he wasn't pissed off and trying to be a good guy, I was still into it. It was so weird, and that's the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing for me, because I'm a face kind of guy. You know, I like to lift up the good guys, and I like to piss off the bad guys. But Don Morocco, Sorry, Bob Backlund, but Don Morocco's been my guy, and I appreciate everything you said with the slowing down, doing this or doing that, and feeling that energy coming in, because my God, my man, it's like it's a sound wave, and it does travel, and I know, and I the only way that I can explain it, because I know it as being on stage live. I could be at a dive bar with only one guy sitting at the fucking corner of the bar for the entire night. I've been through that, and I cry tears, but I'm still having fun. Okay, we're still performing live. We're still doing our job. But man, when there is a crowd there and you're feeling that, there's just freaking nothing like it. And I love that energy that you feel. And I know exactly what you're talking about. There is a sound wave that travels, bro. And when it hits you, oh man, is it something special? So I appreciate everything you just laid out on us right there, because that's good stuff. I'm with you all in on that.
Never underestimate the power of eye contact and reaching out to that person that you're looking at, and just mouthing up the words,
Yeah.
oh, you can get them, you can get them, and then you see that kid reaching back to you, and right there, it's real at that moment, and then you know you've done your job. But there's so much right now going on, and I see so many kids just like walking, pacing the locker room, just mumbling spots over and over and over again, and you see them out there, and they're executing beautifully. It's beautiful choreography, but they're missing this whole big, beautiful piece of the puzzle. And it's just heartbreaking because you're like, oh, child, if you could only know, if you could only know. And then the joy you get when you see somebody pick that up and you're like, God, got it. And it just amplifies. And I love to stand back by the curtain, right? And when someone catches it, and when their pulses are out there, and you just got to get to feel it bounce. I love that shit, man. Like that's why I do this. That's why I love this.
You said till the wheels fall off. And I know this
I'm
is
in my
probably going to
prime.
answer.
I'm in my prime.
You've also said that. Do you feel, and I know it's hard to gauge, if you will, but you have been in the biz for about 20, as we've discussed. Do you feel that there's a time frame where, like, you know what, 10 years, I don't know where I'm at physically, but, maybe for this specific reason or that specific reason, I think that may be my time. Do you set a goal, like in a time frame, or you're just going to go? And I know you said till the wheels fall off, and I know I'm probably answering my own question. But what makes a guy, I'm going to use Terry Funk. That motherfucker never stopped. Never stopped. What makes a guy just want to, until the wheels fall off, my man? What is it?
Man, I don't have kids. I don't have an ex-wife. I don't have like anything like that. My house is almost paid off. My human earthling responsibilities are pretty well in check. This is what I love to do. I love to create art. I love to perform, wrestling, writing. I do graphic design. I paint. I write poetry. I bake. I cook. I love to create things. So as long as I'm on this planet, I'm gonna make shit. And as long as I have a body that's gonna allow me to do this and do it with dignity, like I think there's a time when you look at what you're doing and you say, all right, this is on the border of sad here, because you never want to get to the point where people are like pitying you for struggling out there. Like I want to know that when I get to that point that I can just transition to like a role in, I'll go back to creative, or I'll become an agent. I want to coach and help those kids that are coming up, because this is very much a dog eat dog industry.
Yes,
and it's heartless and ruthless. And if I can use any of the experience, especially the hard knock school learning that I did, to help these other kids coming up to avoid some of that, better position themselves, take care of their brands, make sure that they don't get canceled. If I can do any of those things to help these next group of kids. Look, I'm not gonna make it to the WWE. You know, Vince doesn't have the balls to hire me. All right. I don't know how far I can make it. Yeah, I've lost 200 pounds, but I'm still not the most in shape guy on the planet. I'm working on it. I'm still not the best wrestler on the planet. I'm working on it. But, I'll go as far as I can. I'd like to go overseas. But if I can help more kids coming up through, I'll feel like I've done something to cement my legacy.
Mhm. Excellent. And I absolutely love that message. Now, I want to talk about your creativity, because this is how we actually connected, was through the sanctuary, and you share a lot of this stuff where what's going on with yourself and the tie-ins with the sanctuary. Do you run graphics for them? Do you help them out? Or are you just this wrestler that is very hands-on, if you will?
John Trosky and I have been friends for over 23 years. He's one of my best friends on this entire planet. He always has been, since the time we were both breaking into WXW. And when he needs help, or if I need help, it's actually him right now. And one of us reaches out, the other will be there always. I'm gonna close that window because it'll keep beeping at me. Every year that the sanctuary has been open, he's reached out to me while I was gone, while I was out of wrestling, and he would say, "Hey, come on down and play. Come on down and play. The door's open. The door's open." I'm busy. I'm busy. I don't have time for this. Or I'd dial in and I'd see what they were doing and be like, they've got something really good going. I'd have to half-ass my attention. I don't want to take it down much. So I missed out on a lot of things. So when I came back and I reached out to him, I knew that it wasn't just going to be a place I was going to come wrestle. I was going to be involved somehow. And while he was getting some things personally in order, I helped him with the books. I helped him with creative. I helped him start getting it off the ground. And I've always done graphic design since I've known him, from the WXW days all the way on through. I've always done graphic design. So one of the things we really needed was to get some marketing buzz. I am a marketing professional by trade. My career was in the construction business, but I was the director of marketing at a firm that does a large amount of metal building sales. So I wanted to do a little bit to kind of help the sanctuary elevate. We needed to draw more wrestlers and we needed to draw a new cast in. We needed to attract a buzz. We were coming out of COVID when there was a year with nothing.
I apologize. I got a phone call. Nobody ever called. It wasn't even a human anyways. They want a car warranty or something.
Car warranties out the wazoo.
Yes.
You're good there. So funny trail, sorry, I thought train was derailed there.
We were talking about the relationship with your creativity and the sanctuary.
Thank you. The marketing buzz. So I knew I was going to hop on graphics. I was going to help out. Plus, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. Stubborn old country boy like that.
From Pennsyltucky.
Yeah, Pennsyltucky, man. So you want something done right, you do it yourself. I did some print material for them so that we could hit the community and pass flyers out, hand-to-hand contact. I started doing graphic design, which always gets the boys' attention. It's the one thing that's true about independent wrestlers. Everybody loves to see their picture on something. You put someone's picture on a graphic, they'll share it. You don't put their picture on the show poster, you won't even know that they're on the show. So, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of that, just to try to help further the cause. Nice. It's where I call home now. It's where I train on the regular. There's a couple other places I like to go visit, but the sanctuary is, for all intents and purposes. I help agent guys through, especially younger guys. I still fulfill that role. I try to give the guys that are on the undercard a little bit more purpose, so it's not just show up, hop into a match, and get out. In fact,
Right.
that's like the anti everything about the sanctuary. It's all about story. We want story. So every once in a while we'll do after party matches, which is just matches, but we would rather tell stories.
Yeah.
It's more important to get a story out there than it is to get a bunch of moves that have nothing to interconnect and no reason why. Why am I going to fight this guy?
And I kind of spoke of this in one of my past interviews recently. I don't want to go, well, me personally, I'll just say me personally, as a fan, I don't want to go where it's two guys, match done, two guys, match done, two girls, match done, maybe an intergender done, whatever the case may be. We'll say 5, 6, 7 matches throughout the evening. May we had a good time? Absolutely. Now we come back the following event. May it be the next week, the next month, if you will. Now you don't see you might see some of the same faces, but they're going to be all mixed up and doing different stuff, and there's really nothing to follow. So me personally, as a fan, my own opinion, not everybody likes this as a fan. I love storyline. I love character, and I love when you look professional, mother effer, with the fucking cut up shit and the t-shirts and stuff like that. My eyes attract to a wrestler when they come through that curtain and their gear is solid, tight, clean, looking good. That's just one of my stickler points for me. Again, my own opinion. But those are the 3 points for me, my man. And that's why the sanctuary, whenever I came across that and saw the glitz and the glamour of this production, this setup inside of a church, are you kidding me? That caught my eye right off the ripper. And all of the footage from there is absolutely mind altering, dude. It's so beautiful.
Have you seen the pictures of Prince Ahmed?
All of them. I take them and I
Oh
steal them.
my word. That man was born to be on that stage, and he is going to be the biggest star.
Yes.
It is written in destiny. But what he does on that stage, him and J.S. Hawthorne had a little spat this season, and again, all of the shows all season, every single show we've done at the Sanctuary, up on Facebook for free. Go watch it for free. Killer material. But there's a bunch of J.S. Hawthorne and Prince Ahmed that is just out of this world because it's story driven on a beautiful stage. And what John does with the lights during the show, not just between the matches on intros, during the show, those lights are and that's why we're so spoiled with some of the best photographers in the game just wanting to shoot them. And they're always welcome, by the way.
And speaking of which, Eric Pinhat, am I saying that correct?
Eric Pinhat.
Oh,
legend.
My goodness. And as you stated, and I didn't want to pick anybody out, but I'm going to pick actually, since we're speaking with you, the pictures of Ahmed are just absolutely, I can't even stress enough how fucking fire those pictures of anything that Ahmed come to. The Sanctuary specifically, though, absolutely love that media with Ahmed, all of it. If it's straight on with his face, or if it's an upper angle with the lights and the belt, or it does not matter. Everything Ahmed is absolutely fire. Mr. Pinhat, my wow.
You know what's great is the one of the more recent shows, not the last show, but 2 shows ago, I believe it was October 24th. He was in a match. He's a wrestler. He's in a tag team called the Diamond City War Machines.
Okay.
And I actually was in a 6-man tag against Johnny Moran and the Runway. I was tagging with them. We've been friends. I've been friends with the Diamond City War Machines guys for over 20 years.
Wow.
He worked a match, powdered, threw a sweatshirt on, grabbed his camera, came back out to shoot the Impeccables versus the Flatmates, which was just a treat, an absolute treasure.
Wow. Again, my hat's off to you, Mr. Pinhat. Your stuff is absolutely amazing. As soon as I started seeing that, the photos and whatnot, I had to request. I had to request my man over on the old book. So cool. And then I know I picked out Miss Prince Ahmed, but I also wanted to pick out the pictures of you and Ransom because you tagged me in some promo pics, if you will. The pics of you and Ransom together as a tag team. My God, you guys look amazing as a
You
tag
should
team.
see the videos. It is mayhem, and I love it. I love it. One promoter in Reading put us together, and we figured out he was putting us together. He booked us individually and was like, I want to put you guys together. And I giggled because I was like, this is gonna be fun. And I talked to my old tag team partner, Gus, and I was like, look, man, I was like, would you be offended if I brought somebody new in with BYOB? Kind of want to tune it up a little bit, call it the BYOB Fight Club. It's, more of a club than a tag team. And he was more or less like, shut up and go away, whatever you want. Just don't pick this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, or this guy. And nothing but respect. And I was like, look, it's a Johnny Rods guy. He's like, yeah, I got no problem with that. So you take a Johnny Rods guy and you take a wild Samoan boy, put them together with a whole gimmick as we get drunk and fight. It's beautiful.
What is the tag team name, please?
BYOB.
And that's just the way it stayed, is BYOB?
That's the way it is. BYOB, like I said, you can call it the BYOB Fight Club, but it's BYOB.
Okay.
Ain't no party like a BYOB party, because a BYOB party don't stop.
I would have been remiss if I didn't mention that, because once you sent me those pictures and I hit the notification and the thing popped up, and the first thing that I see is a couple of those pics with you and Ransom, and I'm like, I just interviewed Ransom and I've seen some cool pics, but these are fucking fire, man. These are
Eric
cool.
Pinhead again. He's a genius, man.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, you do me a favor. I was like, we need a couple promo photos shot so we can test fly this tag team out. And he was like, you want a green screen or in the ring? And like, me and Leo are looking at each other. He's like, no, go in the ring. It's gonna look better. And man, he made me look like $1 million. Between him, Paige Watchie, the queen of the camera, Jennifer Dowd, and the legendary Johnny G, who's been shooting me for almost 10 years now. Some of the best. The Eric Schaefer, man, that's a fun conversation if you've never met the man. He was actually the one that took me to my first indie wrestling show when I was in high school. Old family friend. He's like the librarian of professional wrestling. He either knows it or has seen it or has it somewhere on VHS buried in a box. But he's shot all over the world as well. These guys have all come to the sanctuary and shot photos with us and have created artwork. Everything we do there is about art. So if you're shooting video, if you're shooting photo, if you're performing, either as a stunt fighter, thanks PA State Athletic, thanks Greg Serb, or as a safety official or a ring announcer or a commentator, every single person as a part of the show is creating artwork in their own way.
Absolutely.
And that's what we really encourage the most at the sanctuary. And seeing these guys come in and gals come in and the photos they're doing, it's just like, it doesn't even look like me. That looks like somebody, and it doesn't look like this old coot,
Now, I only got one brain cell, so I've been really trying to siphon through my data banks here as we've been speaking. And there's somebody that I wanted to speak of, and I hope you were present at that time. Well, actually, two people. I love me some Dirtbag Dan and Roxanne. They came in, and that is such a beautiful response. I love Dirtbag Dan to pieces. Roxanne is a new accompaniment, if you will. Love her to pieces. I don't want to talk shit about her because she'll kick my ass, literally.
Roberta!
Oh my God, she's gonna kick my.
She's gonna kick your ass. She's gonna kick your ass.
And wait till Dirtbag Dan hears this because that's
You
his
get a
daughter's name.
one-legged ass whooping.
Yeah, that's his daughter's name. He's gonna fucking kill me. Oh my god. Uh I you know what?
So let me tell you a fun story about Dirtbag Dan.
Please do,
This
sir.
is fun, and this is the perfect segue. You didn't even know this. Um, this is how much sway our photographers have at the sanctuary. Like I'm talking, you want to talk about indie wrestling politics? The photographers have the biggest dick swinging out of anybody. Okay. Dirtbag Dan came in on one of our open casting call shows. All right. So let me just quantify that for a moment. We do our regular story shows where we're like super control freaks on them because everything's about a continuing serial story. We also do a lot of just, we call them puppets and bullshit shows and we literally have puppets too. Like that's a shoot number. There will be wrestling shows that you'll see puppets at. We are not above it. We do open casting shows where we will literally say, hey, we're doing open casting. Who wants to come perform at the sanctuary? Don't give a shit where you come from, who trained, as long as somebody trained you. Don't care about your politics or territories or because none of that shit's real anyway. If you want to come perform under the lights, this is your opportunity. And we always find fun shows and we get really cool cats to come through. Dustin Waller and Kylon King and Marcel Williams from the PAPW crew. Those boys have come down. And there's a tag team with them that I feel Miracle Generation, right?
That's Dustin and Kylon. They're the Miracle Generation, but there's also the Haven. Collectively, they're all the Miracle Generation.
Haven,
but the Haven,
thank you. Yes. I see I was close. I was in the right realm there. Those boys have all become regulars down there. Some of the guys from the SAT school, Dino Light and Jaden Vallow, have been regulars coming down there. Of course, we get a good contingent from Billy Walker and that come from the Johnny Rods in his school. We got Philly Mike and boys from the Combat Zone school coming up. We got guys coming in from Pittsburgh. The Von Englunds have come in. Just anybody that wants to come perform. We do a couple different formats of shows because we like to be weird, but we get all these different people to come in, and it's just it's a killer opportunity. Trying to remember how I got there.
We were talking Dirtbag Dan, and it's
Dirtbag. Thank you, photographer Sway. See, I know. See, you're one of us is paying attention here. Thank God it's not me. I'm so broke I can't even pay attention. So Dirtbag Dan comes to one of our shows called Proving Grounds, where we've got a live panel that gives a performance review after the match. It's a little trippy, but it's kind of cool, especially with 80 blokes out there telling you how he feels about your performance in front of a live studio audience.
Wow.
Dirtbag Dan came out and he wasn't doing the hardcore, so it was like a toned down version of Dirtbag Dan, but he still had this like Pigpen from the Peanuts vibe to him. Like, he just looked like he was filthy. And he worked his match. It was a solid match. And then our photographer Johnny G comes up to me and Trotsky at the end of the show. He's like, "I want more Dirtbag Dan." I was like, "Oh yeah?" He's like, "That guy's fun and nobody's like that, and that's fun to shoot. Everybody's always pretty and shiny and glossy, and this guy comes out and he's filthy and gross and just he's fun to shoot." You know what? Because of Johnny G, all Dirtbag Dan needs to do is, as long as it's one of our open casting call shows, he's on 100 out of 100 times.
Wow.
Every time he comes back, it's always entertaining too. Dirtbag Dan is now one of my absolute favorites, and he's one of the guys that's made it on my list of guys I want to work in 2022.
That just warms me so much, man. You don't even know. Especially, I fucked up Roberta's name. He's gonna strangle me. She's gonna kick my ass. But it warms my heart so much to hear that, because he's a different character than anybody. And your photographer said it right off the ripper. He's filthy. He's grungy. He's gritty. Literally, his fucking white shorts are shit stained. They are literally shit stained. So he's a different cat, my man. And he comes out with a prosthetic leg named Roberta nowadays. and he swings her around and he gets the crowd with him and he gets people to tell him, scream his name. What's my name? We all say Dirt Bag Dan. I love that stuff.
It's fantastic. And I've seen the Odd Couple pairing with his buddy Bruno. And I love that. What a dynamic, man. What a dynamic of Dirtbag Dan, who's like skinny as a toothpick, like he's got to wear skis when he takes a shower. Not that he takes a shower, but he'd have to wear skis so he doesn't fall down the drain, you know?
Yes.
You know, skin and bones. And then you've got like this one of the few guys on the local scene that like is bigger than me when I walk in the locker room. Like I got to walk in there and go, listen here, buddy. You know, not many people I've got to do that to, but I love seeing the two of them out there. They're a blast. So that's my thoughts on Dirtbag Dan. I love Dirtbag Dan. I'm a Dirtbag Dan guy.
I absolutely am. When I first met him, I go, I need something for merch. Anything merch. I don't give a shit what it is, even if it's fucking shit stained underwear. Give me some Dirtbag Dan merch. And you mentioned the Bruno Dirtbag tag team. Oh my God, they are amazing together. They're so
absolute good times. Such a blast those two are.
Yes.
I love both of them. I love seeing them around.
Oh man,
I get to share a locker room with those guys at Frontier Pro Wrestling outside of the Poconos. There, it's a good time.
Nice. And that's one thing. Dirtbag Dan, not afraid to drive to flipping Ohio, Indiana. You give them somewhere to go, and Dirtbag Dan is gonna be there.
Ring, no ring, doesn't matter. He'll wrestle on a boat with a goat next to a Taco Bell, doesn't matter. Dirtbag Dan, 24/7, 365. He is the hardcore title.
Now on my YouTube channel, shameless plug, the Kincaid House. On my YouTube channel, there's a match. 2 years anniversary. Was it the beginning of this month? Actually, I want to say it was a 2-year anniversary. Him and Lana Oddity, and I want to almost go on record here by saying they were in the first legit barbed wire match, no ropes barbed wire match in Massachusetts specifically, and it's on my YouTube. And if you boys and girls that are listening to our conversation, all of these names that we're saying, all of these promotions that we're talking about, get on that damn keyboard, look them up, hit the old follow, hit the old like, check out new faces, check out new promotions. If you don't know about the Sanctuary, I want to say you're a jackass, but I didn't know about the Sanctuary either. Look up the Sanctuary. You can't miss it. The stuff is just so eye-catching, you cannot miss it. But look up all of these talents and stuff that we're speaking of, because that's what this show is, again, about. This isn't my show. This is a show for the fans, getting to know the talent, getting to know new talent. I never met the Mastodon before. And look at the conversation we've had. We were 1 hour, 8 minutes. I expected about 7. He was going to get sick of my shit and hang up on me. But we've had such an amazing conversation. But yeah, go look up this stuff, the promotions, the talents and whatnot, because that's how we get to broaden our horizons as wrestling fans. And then we get to shine just a little bit more light. And again, that's what the show is for. Just a little bit more light on our local talent that are either upcoming or have been in the game for a little bit and trying to do their thing. All of those things I just spoke of, get on that keyboard, check out all of these talents and promotions. Mastodon, you had something to say, sir?
I just agree with everything you're saying there. There's so much cool shit happening on the indies right now. There's so much talent. I was actually just talking to one of the Sanctuary, not students anymore, but one of our young guys, J.S. Hawthorne. I was just talking to him last night. I said, I feel bad for you guys because breaking in right now is so hard because there's so much good talent. And you can't go a weekend without finding something that's hot fire somewhere. And it's usually like 3 things going on in one night. So, as a performer breaking in, there's only so many spots. And I'd hate to be one of these guys. Like, I'm old. I don't give a shit. I'll go wherever I can. Some of these kids, man, they've got such an uphill battle. But fans, so much good shit out there. Broaden your horizons. Do a little digging. You'll find some gold. But before it hits IWTV.
And again, that's what I love about getting first interviews, maybe a first promo at a show. And then I watch these students at their specific training facility, their specific school, if you will, start growing as an athlete, as a performer. And I absolutely love it. And I'm not the fan that will go to a show and be like, okay, botch, botch, botch. I don't do that shit. I just soak it all in. I know what I'm going to see. I know what to expect. I know everything that I'm into right now. So I don't play this freaking line of I know, because I don't know shit. I'm not in the ring. I'm there as a fan, and I love to watch the men, the women, everything that happens. I try to soak it in as well. So seeing something like a Dirtbag Dan versus Len Onity, I've never seen a fucking barbed wire match live like that. Yeah, we've seen the stuff on ECW or, the CCW. They do a lot of crazy shit, or other promotions that do the deathmatch stuff. And again, it's another art form of wrestling. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. And I filmed the entire match or just walking around. I was free flow to do whatever I wanted as a cameraman, but I was just me and my phone. And my God, I was just in awe pretty much the whole damn time. But that's the thing. There's so many art forms of wrestling, and I love to soak them all in. May it be the startups, may it be the veterans, may it be some hardcore, may it be this or that. I as a fan, I just dig it, and I don't frown upon the mistakes or they should have done that, or why did they do that bullshit. I don't view it
I never understood the quote heel fans or the smart mark fans that wanted to shit all over the boys that while they're out there. I never got, and I mean boys as a completely gender fluid term. I never got that. Mm-hmm. I was never comfortable with that, even before I started, being involved. I just never found what good it does, what it served. I mean, yeah, I get the old "you fucked up" chant, snicker, snicker. But to just relentlessly bag on someone while they're in the ring, I just never understood that where someone's got to be mentally to have to resort to that for a good time. It's like, seriously, go support what you love, go make what you love, support what you love, and if you don't like something, shut the fuck up. Man, if I could, I just want to shout out a couple young talent that I've seen lately, including some in your neck of the woods. Like I said, Dustin Waller and Kylon King and those boys. Dustin Flash Waller is going to be a rock star, absolute rock star. From out in Ohio, there's a kid named Damian Chambers. If you've not seen his work yet, I want to say he's like a year or two in. He's still relatively young in the business. He came up with a lot of help from Ace Austin. He's going to be a rock star. Those boys, like the one you're wearing on your shirt,
they're takeover,
really good.
If I could, we have a Jay Bougie, we have a PJ Savage. We have the faceless ones, Face and Jocko. We have Prince Ahmed. They all kind of came. We have Ransom. They all kind of came out the same and the same light, if you will, to spread their wings. And I've been an absolute honor and privilege to see these guys come out to some of my local promotions and see their talents in ring, see the way they react to. Let me tell you something. The very first time I ever met Jay Bougie, he kind of knew of me because he's seen my stuff with Test of Strength, I guess. That's the only correlation I could really see, okay?
Jay Bougie pays attention.
He does, and that's a great factor of what these guys bring to the table, though. He comes walking through the door of the Test of Strength, a very intimate setting. It's a room with a ring, about 20, 30 chairs. They call them their training days at their dojo. Absolutely love that intimate setting. I speak of it all the time. Here comes Jay Bougie for the very first time, and he sees me and he just gets right in my face with the camera, and I am like this, and he is just breathing fire down my fucking throat. And I've never met the kid yet. my God, Mr. Mastodon loved every bit of it because he walked through that curtain and he didn't give us a choice. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? Because we've never seen him before. That son of a bitch came out through that door and told us that he was a bad guy.
Face of the faceless ones. I don't know what that kid's got, but he's got something. He's got the makeup for something pretty damn impressive. And I've already said my feelings on Prince Ahmed. Gonna be a rock star. On the verge of becoming a rock star. I say all that, and there's others too. The runway from Pittsburgh that we got to work, they're starting to blow up. The Von Englunds are starting. There's some talented folks that have come through the crossroads of 80 and 81 in Hazleton, the highest city in Pennsylvania, where we are the church. We are the shining light on the hill of professional wrestling at the crossroads of two of the most important interstates on the East Coast. All of those talents come to our crossroads. But let me tell you about the boys and girls that come from there. We are something different. And I beg anybody to come take a look at what the 570 kids have to offer. We have to fight, beg, borrow, scrape, steal to get spots on shows. You will not find hungrier, harder hitting, more aggressive, borderline angry animals than the folks you've got at the 570. And right now, there's one guy that is making waves more than anybody else. And he's a pain in my ass. But that's the dark horse. The man nobody believes in, Johnny Moran. He's everywhere. You can't turn around without that shithead popping up on a show or carrying a belt. Everywhere.
That's what Jay Bougie says about me.
Why do you think the two of them are in cahoots all the time?
Oh, yeah. You would be the perfect person to ask, what is this bullshit with Johnny Moran and Jay Bougie? What the hell?
It's when I lived in North Carolina, the ladies would say, it's a little bit extra. The two of them together is a little bit extra. Just a little bit too much, if you ask me.
Now I want to call this episode "It's a Little Bit Extra."
Just keep changing the title as it goes. It's like Rocky and Bullwinkle. It's a whole bunch of or, and there's another title. We'll just call it or. Speaking of Johnny Moran. Up in your neck of the woods on December 18th, I'm going to be in South Boston.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be tagging with Johnny Moran.
Oh, wow.
Someone's got to do the heavy lifting. It might as well be me.
Okay. Could you tell us what said promotion, if you will?
This is UFO wrestling. Obviously, it's something outside of this fucking planet because they put me and Moran on a tag team together. But it's actually smart if you think about it.
And you're going against Skyros and I'm remiss. Yeah, Blackstrom. Oh,
Mike Skyros and Blackstrom. Let me tell you, there has got to be at least $10,000 worth of tattoos in this match. At least 80 hours worth of ink between the four of us. I stopped counting my own at 40.
Oh, wow. I got to just put it out there. Absolutely love me some Moonlight Sun Mike Skyros. I see him a lot locally.
Kick him in the face, but you know.
That's between you and him, not myself.
Just business, brother. It's just business.
I feel that, and I get the game. I definitely feel that. Love me, great talent. Definitely going to be one of those guys that really hits a different platform much sooner than later. That's for sure. He was holding that Test of Strength K1 Classic Championship for at least a year and a half, maybe even a smidge more. Because what they did was it started as a cup. It was a trophy, and then the GM presented us with this, well, Mike Skyros, but us too, this beautiful, unique K1 Killer Kowalski Classic Championship that is just mind-altering. Love that belt. But yeah, love me some Mike Skyros. I didn't mean to get on a Skyros tangent.
No, you're perfectly fine. There's again when I start highlighting young talent that is worth watching, Mike Skyros has got to be up there on that list. One of my Sanctuary Dream matches coming up, and we saw it once, which means it's up on the Facebook already. But it's Dustin Waller and Mike Skyros. We did that at the Sanctuary one time already. It kind of snuck through. I don't think a whole lot of people noticed that it went through.
I'm gonna go watch. I got to in a chair.
Legendary, absolutely legendary.
Thank you.
Mike Skyros and Corey Jackson came down to work each other, and Flash. We had something lined up for him that fell apart at the last minute, and we were about to deconstruct the card because on those casting call shows, it's about how can we get the best matchups. If they're just matches, let's at least put the best ones out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, Dustin's going to be one of the top guys on this list. Who do we put there? And Mike's like, I'll work double. I want to work it.
Oh, wow.
When one of the boys like that comes walking in and goes, give me 2 matches tonight, I'll work double.
Wow.
So good. You have to watch that. I may actually clip it at some point here over the holiday break. And maybe that'll be the Thanksgiving post that we make on the Sanctuary. We'll be happy Thanksgiving. Check this match out.
That would be awesome because I'm gonna go stalk the page and try to find it myself. I gotta find it. That's on the Sanctuary YouTube. Is that what you're saying?
It's on the Sanctuary Facebook. It's on the we did all of our live streaming via Facebook this year. It's just a little bit easier. We went on a new system. John Trosky and Tom Kupris, they engineered from scratch a brand new live stream switching system. It is all right. So the lights and the stage and everything is one thing, and it's absolutely beautiful. That production room, holy shit! What those boys have just country rigged together. And built this like Starship Enterprise built on hopes, prayers, duct tape, and extension cords. What the quality that's coming out is just absurd. Again, it's just unfair, absolutely unfair. I wanted to point something out. We were talking about photos earlier and video work and the incredible shots. We get a lot of shit for it. We don't have a bottom rope. It opens up the field of play for cameras. And if you think about it from a worker standpoint, you're going to realize how little you use it. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to adjust to it, to not having that bottom rope. But the extra shit that you can get with your cameras. Don, you've done camera work. If you didn't have to fight that bottom rope, if the guys are on the opposite side of the ring and you want to completely lean in to get a really close shot, you can. And it makes the whole world of difference.
Something unique, again, added on top of the Sanctuary and their production. I have actually two more. Did you see that Johnny Moran, he got a beautiful Stir in the Pot with Don Kincaid tattoo on his chest? I think that's one of the most beautiful gifts I've ever gotten in my entire life.
It's the second time recently that he's shown good taste. The other time, of course, choosing me as his tag team partner Pro Wrestling on December 18th in South Boston, Massachusetts. But it was an absolutely beautiful tattoo. Yeah, he should do more a Don Kincaid quality tattoo. I think a big old pot with a spoon right on his abdomen there, you know, like Brock Lesnar's little trench knife, but just a pot and a spoon. Yeah, right here. Book it, Moran. Chest piece right there, brother. Let's make it happen.
Oh my God. Oh, whew. Oh, that was a good time. I actually forgot my second question. Holy shit. Oh, you've mentioned Ace Austin. Has quite the career up until this point. He's a champion up there.
Yes.
You've got Johnny Moran. He's got a belt over there. Does he not?
He did. All right. So funny story. I'm gonna expose some business here about Johnny Moran because I just like to do it.
Oh,
If you look back on the entire story of Johnny Moran of 2021 at the Sanctuary, every major victory, and he's had several, every major point of victory of his is hollow. He was underhanded and sneaky and cheated to win the title and got it stripped away 2 weeks later.
oh,
Hollow. Now, I asked Trotsky, I said, are you going to, like, is his name removed? Does he get an asterisk? And he said, no, he can be regarded as a champion. And just know that it's a hollow victory.
Mhm.
And every time he's led his Billy Walker clan, you know, Johnny's the king dingaling of that clan, and there's many dingalings in that clan. But Johnny is their king. He wears the crown. The tournament, by the way, where he got that crown, I told him I was expecting a Christmas gift for doing the heavy lifting, because in the first round, I took out Ace Austin's brother, Skylar Kincaid, got myself eliminated, and that paved the way for Johnny Moran to hop a place to the finals. Hollow victor. Every time his team has run the table, every time the Walker clan boys did their part to run the table, Johnny Moran's victory at the end of the night had to be dirty,
hollow.
had to be sneaky, hollow. So his entire year, although you look at it on paper, so impressive. The Mastodon sees all. The Mastodon knows all. Not a damn thing happens there that I don't know about or I don't approve.
Okay.
Not officially. It's not my role. But if I want to stop something, I'll stop it.
I can.
Johnny
Well,
Moran's victories are hollow.
okay. Well, you're the Mastodon. You can stop stuff at will. I couldn't. I mean, I
I
would
just put my foot down.
yeah, I would run at said Mr. Johnny Moran and just bounce off him like a fucking Super Bowl. Now, we've had such an amazing conversation, and I can't believe everything that we've spoken of, the topics we've actually covered in this amount of time. Now, excuse me. I wanted to mention Ace Austin because what is the title that he is holding over at Sanctuary right now?
That is the Sanctuary Championship. We have the Sanctuary Championship. We have the Spotlight Championship, which is our secondary title. We don't do a weight class thing. We don't do gender divisions either.
And who's holding this? Who's holding the Spotlight?
Spotlight Championship is currently held by Prince Ahmed.
Okay.
All right.
So
if you look at those two champions right there, Ace Austin, find me one person on our roster that you can honestly say it's better than him. I believe in myself, my friend, but I know my lane.
You're not Ace Austin.
I am no Ace Austin. I enjoy that I get to call him a friend, but I am not. Brother, I couldn't do what he does on the way to the ring without getting blown up, okay? That man exudes high energy that exhausts me. I love him dearly. His quads have their own zip code.
They do.
Okay? He is our champion. And I've heard some names, although I can't drop them, but I mean, just stay tuned. I've heard names of who may pop up in the Sanctuary in 2022. We've already had a couple rounds of Ace and Jamie Senegal, and Jamie is another hell of a competitor and performer, and I'm so proud of everything she's doing this year. Having those two as representatives of the history of the Sanctuary, couldn't ask for much better young up-and-coming talent.
Those are the only... Oh, go ahead.
We have Ahmed, who's got our Spotlight title.
What does that represent?
Who should the Spotlight be on? if you're not the grand champion, who deserves the spotlight? We are very story and theatrical based, so we're going to lean with the allegories more of the stage. We've had 2 spotlight champions this year, only 2. J.S. Hawthorne, the thespian, who was born, whose gimmick is the spotlight, the center stage. And we've had Ahmed.
And now, I want to take it with Ahmed because I know just a smidge about him comparing to Mr. Hawthorne you were speaking of. Now, Ahmed, he doesn't do interviews, and I've been scratching at him just a little bit to have him come on stirring the pot. He's not budging. He's respectful. I'll give him that. For me being a jackass and reaching out every so often and begging and pleading with him, he does not do interviews, but I've been trying like a son of a bitch with him. But Mr. Ahmed has hit the OVW scene over there in the past few months, and I'm not taking anything away from the Sanctuary because he does very innovative stuff no matter where he goes. But my God, Mr. Mastodon, does Ahmed come up with some of the most innovative shit on the fly, might I add you?
Bro. I watch his shit like, so I take the show at the end of the, after the show, usually on Monday, the day after our Sunday of doom and terror that is running a Sanctuary show. I will rewatch the show and sometimes clip out matches. Talent, that does not mean to bother me asking me to clip your shit. Do it on your own. Please and thank you. I've got 1,000 things to do. That's not one of them. So I'll go through and I'll rewatch the entire show because on show day, man, between my own matches and trying to agent things and making sure that John doesn't set the building on fire and someone's got to print out release waivers and so-and-so's in a fight with so-and-so, I can't watch the show. Like, so I only get to catch bits and pieces. And I will sit there and watch shows and I will watch Ahmed's matches and pause. Rewind that shit, play it again. How the physics? Like the man just, I don't know if he's got like an altar to Ra in his closet or something. If he prays to Anubis and has something going, but man, this guy is just a torture artist. Literally, again, the artist. He just does it with pain. And I see the pictures, and I'll look at like Pinhead or Paige's pictures. I'll just be like, I don't know if that guy's working or not. I think that might be, I think his shoulder's coming out of socket. And, it's just, it's incredible watching that guy. Just, he's like speaking hieroglyphics with his work. And I haven't seen, and again, I'm old, so seeing Chris Kanyon back in the day and the innovative shit that he did, that's the level of what the fuck that I get from Ahmed. And I'm a huge fan of Chris Kanyon, so that's like the highest of the highest praise that I can give it. Man, that guy's a genius. I'm glad I'm really big and in a completely different story arc so that I don't have to get my head ripped off like he does. My shoulders hurt watching it.
And the last question, because I mean, me and you, obviously, it seems that we click pretty well on our discussion. We could probably go at least a couple more hours easily.
Probably. I get told to shut the fuck up a lot. So,
But what I'd like to do is maybe have a return down the road and see where the Sanctuary is, see where the Mastodon is, see what's going on in your career a little bit later down the road, maybe another 4, 5, 6 months. I'd love to have a return.
Anytime you want. I've got the gift of gab. I can always run my mouth and I can always come stir the pot.
Awesome. I love that. Because you did at least 3, maybe 4 times in this one. Before I do let you go, though, I actually wanted to start with one question. I know I wanted to start with your name that I physically said, but I legit wanted to start with a question, but I didn't want it to get all thrown off. There's only one thing I really want out of the sanctuary in its entirety as an entity, move an hour and a half closer to me. Pick that shit up and move an hour and a half closer to me. If there's any possible way we can do that, that would bring us like maybe midway point. I won't mind driving that because it's probably about 4 hours for me or so. Holy shit. So if we could accomplish that, and I know you got some kind of stroke over there, maybe we can make that happen. Yes. Oh, my goodness. The Mastodon. What an absolute pleasure. I cannot thank you enough for all of the insight you gave us, all of the information about your career, but plus more, because that's what we like to do. I know this is supposed to be a focal point on said talent's career, but there's so much that surrounds said talent sometimes, and you have a lot going on. You wear many a hat, if you will. So I appreciate you really like opening up, pulling back that curtain, even more than a smidge, and giving the fans like a really cool insight of what's happening at the sanctuary, the talents you spoke of. Again, boys and girls, all of those talents, he was pushing us at the very tail end of this. Look them up if you don't know the Flash Wallers and the Mr. Hawthorns and such. Look them guys up, check it out, see what's good. Get on the bandwagon and follow the talent. But you were very insightful, and I really can't thank you enough for spending the time. Shit, we are an hour and 36 minutes. Holy crap. So again, I thank you so much.
Iron Man this. We can at least go another 4 or 5, I'll go grab a
Oh.
drink. Let's keep rolling.
We could Iron Man this shit out because I did 2.5 hours with a fucking plastic doll, being Dan the Man. Yeah, that was ridiculous in its own right. Yeah, what a jackass. That sucked, but I pulled it off somehow. I don't know how. With everything said, I know I've thanked him 1,000 times, but I do truly, genuinely thank him because he didn't talk about, where did you start? What's your favorite match? We don't like to do the same old generic type stuff. We really opened up on this Stirring the Pot, and we had a fantastic time. And with everything said, this is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, the Mastodon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm at Rosh Daggett.
Yeah.
Rosh Daggett, can't beat that. I'm on YouTube. Just go to my Facebook. It's got everything. And then buy my T-shirts on TeePublic because I need money. I'm a broke indie worker.
I'm so sorry. I usually end with that, and I didn't. I was remiss to even mention it, and I'm so glad you pushed.
That's all right, brother. I'm a carny fuck at heart, so I always know how to hustle my gimmick in there.
I'm a jackass, and the Mastodon is on his gate, baby.